things we need to prep that street to do, and then have a contractor come and do an overlay. And we're looking at some different type of a material to put on that street to make it level, and then actually stripe the street.
So we're not going to go in there to do any sewer work for the next 5 years?
No, sir, they just replaced
Or
everything.
no water work? They did the water too?
That's what they did that's what they've been putting on there. They're even replacing, either today or tomorrow, they're replacing one fire hydrant right there.
Tomorrow.
So tomorrow they're replacing a fire hydrant. If you can envision where the flush used to be on the corner.
Yes.
There's a fire hydrant right there. They replaced one and they're going to replace another one. So there should not be any work that has to dig up that street anytime soon.
My question then, okay, I understand that. Now, weren't they going to do the parking lots behind the building before we did all that work for they can use?
They can use what?
If they lose the parking spaces where they did all the work?
So
I thought they were
one
going
of
to
the
do.
things that the business owners asked was for us to wait. I'm getting everybody to sign their agreement, but they said that they were parking in the back, and so it's kind of like working on your front door and your back door at the same time. And if you go up there right now, they have some pretty big pieces of equipment parked in front of that dry cleaners and taking some things out. So we want them to I don't want to be working on, Renee to be working on their back door, and then we actually work on the front door at the same time. So
Why do we want to even put anything on there after we get the street done? Why do we spend the money on the back parking lots?
Because we need to have that. As we go forward, we need to be able to have people to be able to park there. Their staff needs to start parking in the back, but if you've been to those parking lots, it's not necessary to be able to do that. So it's a project that they started for EDC some time ago, before me, and it's one that EDC has already approved to give us the funding. We're just waiting for one to finish.
And if you want to go and park in front of those restaurants, I mean, everything's full always.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Because there's staff parks there. There's really no place to park, so we're hoping to be able to do that. So those are one of the things that we'll be putting on a project that will come out of this budget. And so we'll be bringing, and you'll be seeing Renee again.
I want to say one thing, that y'all been doing a great job in keeping up with the patchwork and stuff, even though you're having to be behind Spectrum and now the gas company.
Well, that's the problem with right there with Spectrum coming in. They're coming in, tearing up our roads. They're potholing on our roads, and they said that they were going to be doing that. And now they're not just potholing straight down, they're potholing at an angle. So you're getting a lot of moisture in there.
Hold on, Councilman.
I'm sorry.
Council.
I've been wanting to ask you, Renee, when you if you fix railroad, whenever the time comes when y'all fix railroad, how long is it gonna take for it to wash away again?
Probably
Because is that gonna be the first rain?
it's not going to last. It's just going
It's
to be
not gonna last, right?
How about if we do it with concrete?
That's the different cities where that road is, you know, it's where they took the drainage away.
Yes.
You'd almost have to make a ditch in the center of the road, just in concrete.
Correct.
Where the water could go to that corner, which doesn't have much drainage there either, but you're just moving the problem downstream.
That's why I didn't want to do it myself. We needed an engineer to go in there and make sure that everything was flowing the way it has to flow. Because now we can run into a lot of problems.
We've had an engineer before, and that's $1 million street.
Yeah.
You have to do an inverted drain?
Because it needs a French drain at the base of that football field. And I think the last time we
But
had.
no, we're talking about two different roads.
We're talking about railroad, that's
By
where the
Modest.
chamber.
By Modest or by the baseball field?
By the
By
baseball field.
By the football field,
Right.
by the
I'm
school.
talking about railroad,
Yeah,
By the
football
school,
field.
the school sign.
railroad, yeah, the one right there.
But it's also by Montes, there's two.
Two railroads.
Yeah, we're
Yes.
talking
It's
about
the same one.
Rivers.
Okay,
yeah.
now I'm clear.
And they
Okay,
don't
thank you.
connect. And they don't connect, I
But
know.
they both flood like crazy.
Yes.
Now, my question is, since, because we had a little wreck in front of our neighborhood I live in, since they sort of hit our water line and blew out that whole corner to the road, and the gravel's there, we had a little car go and hit the gravel and slide and sort of hit another car. Are we able to get anything back from them from hitting the water lines? I know about some of the small stuff, but that was a major water line, and that's a major road that we're tearing up, they tore up. I know the city owns them, now we gotta go
You
back
speaking
and
of
fix them.
Spectrum?
Yeah, Spectrum.
Oh, this is 181?
Business, yeah, Spectrum and Riverbend.
We can't do
Well,
it. That's the
actually,
state.
today,
the driveway.
Connie's looked at, because she's looking at the budget, and today she sent me an email, which I forwarded to the attorney. I've even had the guys already to do that for us to contact Spectrum, because in some areas, in just water, I'll just pick water and sewer, in overtime, and pipes and things that we had to order, we're over $165,000 over what we normally budget, because we have to fix this.
And it's still climbing.
Renee, they have to go out on
That's
call.
over half a
those kind
million
of-
dollars with
And so
overtime and everything.
I'll let your city attorney speak to the letter and contact it, because we need to be ready to talk to that attorney.
Yeah, because your whole crew was out there on that water line. I don't know how many people you had out there.
I even had the police out there to direct
Right.
traffic, because coming off that 181 business loop, that traffic's pretty fast.
Okay, as the council is aware, I had sent out a letter, and we had a low amount that had been given to me by basically our Public Works Director. I had spoken to the lead counsel for Spectrum, a gentleman by the name of Barry King, and he and I have been in the process of trying to schedule dates. Unfortunately, it was going to be dates with Mr. Velasquez being present, and he's no longer here. So now it's going to be dates where Ms. Turner and I will meet with him, and I take it with someone who is here, who is a representative from Spectrum, so that we can show him and detail all the damages that we have sustained. Today, I get new numbers from Ms. Connie, so I'm going to put that in an amended demand letter and send that to him by tomorrow. Because those numbers are a heck of a lot bigger than what I have been given by Mr. Velasquez.
Yeah, that's,
Yes.
I said, Mr. Velasquez, I don't know where you got the numbers from, but 46,000, that's not even. I mean, we've got, they've destroyed roads, all our manpower, overtime, they're using all our equipment. I mean, it's just, it's not no 100, 200, or 300,000. I think it's a lot more than that.
Yeah,
So we
what I-
need to put the pencil to it.
What I
That was just
listed,
water. That was
yeah,
just
what
water.
I listed, it was just on materials, pipes, connections, overtime, but I didn't include the streets that were repaired after that, those
Yeah.
leaks. And there's a lot, still invoices coming in for that.
Yeah.
So it
It's
is,
ongoing.
it can climb up to 500,000.
Yes, and address work orders is one of the things, Renee can tell you that Spectrum was done and moved on, and they moved down the street, but we have people, they left holes, literally holes. I have dirt in people's drive, I have tons of dirt, and so he's been delivering dirt just to fill in these holes. One lady couldn't get out of her driveway because they left this hole, and I'm calling BCOM and BR and Quest and everybody else. It's like 3 or 4 of them running around, and they're like, oh yeah, but he has to answer those work orders, because I can't leave somebody stranded that they can't back out of their driveway. So it is something that we're on. Actually, Andreas and Pato will be attending the meeting when we schedule it with the attorney, because they work in water, and they'll be able to articulate all of the wonderful time we've been having with them and how they've been doing. But that is hitting us. They've also hit gas lines along the Catholic school. They hit that same line twice within a week period.
Just out of curiosity, are we testing the water once they hit a water line and then we patch it and go forward with it? I received a call today from a woman who lives down F Street who has, they hit a water line, Spectrum hit a water line, I guess a week or 2 ago in that area, F and probably 6 or 7, somewhere in that area. Anyway, she's been sick ever since. Are we testing the water? Are we doing anything when we patch that up, or how are we doing that?
But that shouldn't, I don't think
I know
that shouldn't contaminate the water.
But dirt gets in there and they don't flush the system down the road.
Yeah, so do we have a process that we're doing that? Sorry.
personally had a problem with it. They hit a water line next to my house. It stopped up my water softener about a day later. That was a $300 bill. That when they fixed the water line, no matter how you do it, where it mud this deep, it washed into the water line. Our water at the house was muddy. Of course, that contaminates your water softener.
And I think you mentioned
you know,
something
once
with your
again-
ice maker, correct?
Oh, yeah, I mean, when they broke that main water line coming into Riverbend, everybody had issues, even our golf course, you know, he, thank goodness, it goes on a well, but down at the restaurant, I had a lot of mucky water and my ice maker stuck, and then I found a lot of people's did, so.
And I'll make note and ask when the water department comes, so that we can ask about the testing, and maybe we did some thinking, looking at flushing the system, following some of these breaks.
Mrs. Turner, I can tell you with regards to the testing of the water, there's no need to test the water. The water's already tested at the well and the storage tanks. Now, Mr. Johns, with the issue that you have, that's going to happen. There's nothing really that we can do about that. Once they hit our lines, the dirt goes in there. It's almost impossible for us to stop that mess from flowing forward. You know, so that part there, I mean, we do our best.
I understand that.
On after repair, what we do, I work on call also. I am the speech department, but what we do is 99% of the times your water softener is going to be after your first spigot. And we will run it for a while. I'm not going to tell you we run it enough, but it does help.
But
it's not going to get everything.
Still, Spectrum is what did it.
Yes.
Spectrum hits it,
I'm not
and-
condemning y'all's work, it's fine.
And sometimes
It's just
they
what's-
hit and don't inform us,
That's
and it's like a slow leak for a while, and all of a sudden, somebody calls and puts in a work order and says, there's this huge puddle of water coming up out of the surface, and so it's been slowly leaking and seeping into the
No,
ground.
it's nothing with our workers. It's
Yeah.
just, I'm mad at Spectrum saying, okay,
And
Spectrum
so
can
would
cost
the
it.
attorney can be able to articulate that, which is why I'm taking the water supervisor and Pato with us.
Yes,
So
and
that
I-
he can articulate all the problems. I mean, you're hitting it everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a meeting that is with a lot of our representatives from different departments like streets, public works, everything else. What I am going to ask of you, Mr. Benavides, is have you taken any photographs of the damages that's been done to our streets?
Yes, I have.
Please get those together and get them to me as soon as you can. Sir, if you have anything else that you can, as well, if you've taken photographs and notations and stuff of that nature, if you can forward that to me as well, that way we can have all those ready. And I would like for everybody, for you guys to be there at that meeting.
Councilman Jimenez, and then
Okay,
Councilman
and-
Johns.
And you can go and take pictures of the things that you already have done.
Yes.
For the before and after, and because we've been doing them for,
since February.
Councilman Johns, you had a...
How about our private citizens? I understand what they've done to the city, but a lot of our private citizens have to fix what Spectrum has done. I've seen them even destroying people's shrubbery, not with running it over, but with the trencher burning up their shrubbery.
I will tell you this, today I drove by going to the thing, and I saw the man in Mom's front yard, way up in by her street, and so when I came back, I stopped and said, when are y'all gonna do that yard? I said, because you know, she has electrical to the trees up front. She ran electrical. I said, and there's a sprinkler system also in that yard.
But-
And he said, oh, they fix everything. They promise. They fix everything and they do it all. I said, okay, well, we're gonna see about this because they're gonna hear from me when they start, because her yard is up high. So my point is that how are you gonna cut across there and her yard is up high and she's got a brick wall?
But this is where Ms.
So-
Turner was supposed to give me a phone number, because I'm at the shop, I get hit with customers that come by, hey, they tore my yard, up, they tore this
But
up.
there's a moving target for the phone number. There's a BCom, there's a what's up?
Robinson.
B Robinson,
Quest.
there's a Quest, there's then there's a new guy named Charlie that's in town, and each one are independently of each other. Then when I called the number for Comcast, because people call me, then it's a number they get, the guy said, it's not us, it's a corporate number, it's not us. So they end up pointing fingers at each other.
Okay, so what we're going to need is every time that there's a new gentleman that's there, that's a representative, we need to get a copy of their bonds. Okay, because they are covered, so we need to ask them for that before they start doing any other work as soon as possible.
yeah, you gotta go after the insurance, not them.
So that we can start looking at that, please.
Well,
Por favor.
I understand that part. I'm still looking at, I understand the city going after, great, but we still got a lot of private citizens.
Yes.
They don't want to hear, well, you got to go here, here, there. We need one central place where they can go to the city, leave a name, what was damaged. Somebody needs to get back to them, because it's,
Henrietta, do we have a department
We've
designated
been
for that,
taking
or-
work orders in the complaints so that we can document as people
there-
call in.
Yeah.
Do they have to come to the city? Who
They-
would they talk to?
They can just, they call the front desk and they call in and do work orders. That's how he has the work order number
I
4.
have the work orders. Once I get the work orders, I go to their home.
So somebody comes by and say, look, go to City Hall. Half the time they say, well, nobody was there and they couldn't talk to anybody. But we need somewhere where they can at least, here, fill this out, get it to us,
Form.
and at least they can turn it back in.
Correct.
And something, at least somebody can address it.
Yes, yes.
Yes, I'll get them a complaint form if they can do so,
What are we done?
so that we can be able to do that. Yes.
60,
If you let them know that this is damages, it is, for them, they need to document that this is damages that is being caused by Spectrum, not by the city of Floresville.
Correct.
Yes.
Because then they're gonna look to the city of Floresville and say, we want to be compensated. So whatever, Mr. Benavides, once again, please tell them photographs, photographs, photographs.
That's right.
Councilwoman Cantu, you had a question.
Yes. I was gonna say, this, like today I went to HEB and everybody always catches me and tells me about Spectrum. So a lady that lives in the corner of 7th and E, she said that they had messed everything up in her yard and she was complaining. Anyway, she said she called to City Hall and the girls there told, whoever answered the phone said, oh, we have nothing to do with it. That's Spectrum. So, I could give you her name tomorrow. I'll call you and
Thank
tell
you,
you.
and I will
But it is in the
definitely,
corner of,
I will
and they
definitely
said they
research
left all
that.
the holes there. And she was very, very upset. I mean.
Well, I know that once they go ahead, because I mean, if you go down 4th Street, they've got all the holes open and they wrap them with the orange stuff until they go back and, and put the,
And there's days, it's.
and sometimes
weeks.
it's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I know
it's
down
like-
4th Street, it was like 2 weeks.
I'm not trying to defend them, but they do, for the most part, cover up
For damages.
So
their
anyway,
work for tomorrow or the next day.
But then they don't.
But again, forget about
Lives.
it, like Ms. Cantu's saying, I mean, it's unreal, really. It's
And then-
unreal
and then
what they have
Alex,
done.
Alex, are they meeting with one of you guys and telling you, hey,
No,
this is who
no,
I am,
no,
I'm the rep?
no,
We need to find them, we need to see who they are, get documentation on them, get their bonds,
Yes.
and stuff of that nature from them right away.
when they started,
Preferably follow them.
before they start, we met with the attorney at the time, and I think at that time we had,
Didn't Navarro.
Dick Navarro, we met with them and the representative of everybody around the table, the guys were there, and that attorney had advised us that we couldn't permit them, there was nothing we need to do to have them register, and they can go forth. Is that right?
Yeah, but my advice would be, find out who they are, follow them, and see what they're doing. My understanding at one point, Mr. Velasquez had gone to that extreme, said he was getting everybody's name and even trying to designate an individual to keep an eye and see what they were doing, so that they could see what damages were being caused.
Is
So
it
we
too
need,
late for us to
Okay.
go in and at least ask them, like, okay, stop working, what area are you going to, this is where you're, I
We
mean,
don't have-
I don't know, it
we
may be
don't.
too
But
late.
they're almost finished.
Yeah.
No, they're not
It may
even
be too
close.
late.
Hold on, Councilwoman Cantu hadn't finished, but I know she had a concern about when they call into City Hall.
yeah, and also, she said they gave me a card to call this number, and they never called me back. And I know that's true because I also had a complaint with Spectrum. I haven't called the city because I know they're overwhelmed with it, but I called that number too, and they never answered.
I made a note and just in a text so we can see what we can do to get this, we're wrapping that up.
Councilman Essen?
We have, I forget the young man who runs our code compliance.
No, Dino.
Dino.
Can
Can he drive by, since he's supposed to be out on the road looking at stuff, can he keep a diary of today they're working on 6th and F, tomorrow the group is why he's traveling the roads, when he's out traveling? I know he doesn't travel every day, but when he is out traveling, and get that report back to Renee, our street supervisor, where he can accumulate that, because when he's driving down the road and I see him in his pickup just driving straight down, driving by him, he can get a little recorder, or he can get a camera with a recorder, and say, Frontier is at this road here, Spectrum's here, then I seen some letter ones here and let him
Yes.
give
that's
us
a
a
great
daily
suggestion.
thing.
We can
And
do
that
We
way-
have done that prior the only issue we've come across there is that where y'all are on B and Second right now. Yeah, we're gonna be here for 2 days. But then tomorrow comes and it rained and there's areas that are too wet for them to work. So they jump to,
All over town.
Well, that's why Dino needs to do that on a daily
Right.
basis for you guys
Right.
to help you out, because you guys are chasing them.
Yes.
Because you're not getting ahead of them because they don't tell you. And Dino at least be able to do that.
Yes, we can do that. Yes, sir, I'll make sure of that as we wrap this up. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And I had one other question after, just, our electric bill over at Streets Department, is Streets the only one over there besides the mechanic shop? Is there wastewater people meeting there? Why is the bill so high, $45,000?
Because we pay the street lights.
That's including street lights, that
Yes.
doesn't come out of the general fund?
Yes,
That comes out of the street thing? Okay,
yes, sir.
all right.
$6, how much a light is that?
We have about 175 streetlights, and when I spoke to Mr. Duke, I think in Stockdale, they replaced like 40 of theirs to be LED and going down, and he's planning on starting that project here. I'm not quite sure, Mayor, you may help out with the timeframe, but I believe in their next budget, and they're on a calendar year, that they're talking about replacing some lights here for LED.
It costs us how much a month for street lights? $6,
Well,
$8?
I couldn't tell you what, she can tell you what it talks about. I know what-
$20,000, right?
We pay,
21,000?
we pay
65. We're paying $65,693 a year.
a year, and our average bill is about $20,000 a year, $20,000 a month that we pay to Phelps.
$8
Yes,
light.
yes. But we're hoping with LED lights, it'll
I
actually cut it in
I
half.
think city has 300 lights.
How much did you say you're paying a year?
65,000.
For
Oh, a
street
year,
lights.
about 20,000.
20,000 a year on the street lights.
No, we
No,
pay
no, no.
$20,000 a month. And for
Every day.
electricity, for every month, we pay about that, $21,000 to $22,000 a month. But just for street lights itself,
65,693, that's what we paid in 2017.
How much?
65.
So how come this is,
65,693.
where's the rest of that money being charged to?
That would be for your sewer plant, water plant. See, the lights, we're not charged for the electricity for,
Well, I understand that,
It's just for
but
the unit, that they take that from Phelps. And we
the sewer plant doesn't
they
take.
charged us $8 a month.
So-
I'm just coming up with that number.
each department, so at the yard on First Street, is that right? On First Street?
Yes.
So the yard on First Street, that bill is divided into each department. So service is there, water, sewer, parks, streets. And so
They all pay a portion.
they all
of
pay a
it.
portion. So 301 pays a couple of times because streets belongs to us as well as 301 as well as parks
Yeah,
belongs to
but shouldn't that just be strictly come out of general funds to show that our street lights cost us this amount instead of you're misleading when you say streets are paying this amount and water's paying this amount? Realistically, even though you can charge water, but the street fund lights all should come out of general to keep it from, because you're misleading
I've seen
No.
the numbers right here.
No, because what we're paying on 301 on streets department is strictly streets. Because they don't have, street department doesn't have a shop. They just go and meet at the water department or at the service department, but it's not, that crew is not enough for us to charge them light.
So
Okay,
that money
so-
should go to the general fund, it shouldn't be in the
It
street
is-
department.
And you're-
That 45,000. It should not be coming out of us. It should come out of the general fund as showing street light expense for it's a true cost.
It's not
because-
part of administration. It's part of the streets because it's street lights. So when I arrived here, it was already that way. And it makes sense because that's street lights.
I'm the counting on the government administration, that all the cities I work for in the county, administration, it had an item that said street lights under general, under the administration, like you have maintenance as typewriters. and it showed the full city amount of lights under general to show a true cost, versus here, people are thinking he is spending $45,000 worth of electricity. It's not. It's the city. And that comes under the fund accounting under general, like maintenance for typewriters, maintenance for windows, to get it to show the people he is not spending $45,000. He's only spending $5,000 to run his. All the street lights are coming out of the city general fund, even though he's a general fund, but it's showing him blowing $45,000 in electricity. He is not.
As a department.
So that's why the places I work, it was under general funds and all
He
there.
wants me to change it from streets.
Yes, Councilman Johnson.
Wouldn't that be under safety?
To general.
Under what?
Your streetlights, wouldn't that be under safety?
No,
It wouldn't be?
no, because
But that
it's
would
an
be general
enterprise
fund
where
out of
it's
safety.
like a bill we pay.
He wants to have it itemized.
It's just a bill, a street light.
Well, we can move that for streets underneath administration to say street lights. We can do that to say,
Yeah, because instead of having 860,000, now we're only having 815,000, and he's not wasting 45,000, because when this gets out, people ask me, you don't have $45,000 in shop lights down there? I said, no.
we can move it to where it's administered, to show that it demonstrates that it's street lights itself. We can do
Because
that.
that's more justifiable.
I can move it to administration, but we're gonna lose the history of it.
No, you don't lose the history of it.
On my system, when, cause I'm gonna close this account, I'm gonna make it inactive, and I'm gonna create another account on general administration to where we're gonna now be charging the street lights to it. So this one is not gonna be used anymore, so I have to put it inactive. So
Right.
all the history up to the time that it's moved to admin is gonna be lost. It's gonna
So
stay
you don't have
behind.
a comment area that you can say, this was transferred as of this date, this is how much money is spent in history?
You should be able to have that,
There's.
or you save it.
There should be a comment for that.
Yes, and we'll
Yeah, we can
track
make
the
a
last
comment.
2 years. Yes, sir,
Yeah.
we'll do that. We'll make note of that.
Okay. Mr. Turner, how about the lights out here in the event center?
That's charged to this center. It's not, parking lot lights would not be part of that.
They got their own
Same.
meter.
Okay, if we can, any questions for streets before we move on to service?
Thank you, Renee. Appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Renee, appreciate
I've
it.
got a question.
Okay.
Okay, one of the things I wanted to do is, I guess the streets is part of the drainage, correct?
Correct?
Okay, I mean, I would like to set monies aside. There's 3 more drainages that I would like to get done. One is that 7th Street by your house and Fuller's house.
The F and second.
F and 7.
F is second?
And then there, we need to do a drainage there at the, between Mr. Smith and,
Well, see, F and second will be the place to start, because that's the blockage. right?
Yes, coming up from,
Yeah, that, if we start there, that starts helping out farther up, a lot farther up.
I'm just saying, I'm
Yeah,
not saying
no, I
for,
understand. Anything that helps there is.
okay, which I would like to see if we could get 3 of those drainages, one by the Knights of Columbus and another one further down, letting the water out.
I wrote 7th Street, but I didn't get the cross street. It just
Well,
said,
It's second and F
F.
Street.
oh, second and F, I'm sorry. I know with the concrete, we've been out there a couple of times where I got eaten by mosquitoes. And then Smith and where Knights would be the second. You said 3,
There's
Councilman.
3, there's got to be one right between Knights of Columbus and Smith, and then there's another one has to be further down, and to let the water out and widen the roads, widen on both sides of our ditches.
Part of that is going to have to be with the state across 3rd Street.
That's
But there.
With
But
text
if we
dot.
start at second and F,
Yes, sir.
that will be the big, because we.
yes.
You may not need
Yeah, you
the
gotta
other.
make the room for that water.
It will help. If we get that one spot fixed, it would make, it would be a lot easier figuring out how wide, how much needs to be done.
I agree.
But second and F, we really need to
Ms.
concentrate.
Flores.
Okay, yes,
Renee, before you start on all of those, remember that y'all still had Mr. Velasquez was working on the one on Second and Railroad, right there in the corner. Yeah, we're supposed to
Yes,
do a
ma'am.
drainage right there. So before you do those three, make sure that the other one,
Yeah, I
please.
think that one's a culvert that's collapsed and
Yes.
it needs to be completely taken
Taken
out.
out.
Is that a complete drain? Like-
Because that was next in y'all's agenda, as far as I know.
Yeah, because they have tin around it and some
Yes.
poles there, it's all.
And that was
it's kinda-
already, after y'all did those on